Hello and welcome. This is Eagle Eye 621, and what you see behind me is a double speed zero tick generator. That is the clock you see right behind my head right there. And what it does is it creates a double zero tick pulse on these pistons. So each one of these pistons you see surrounded by a cactus is actually getting two double ticks. So let me talk about the rates. I will explain to you exactly what that is. I'll show you some proofs back there, the materials on how to make it, and then of course I will show you how to make it. So in terms of rates, each cactus is 1500 per hour, and that means each pod, and this right here is a pod that is four cactuses together powered by a single piston. Each of those pods is capable of generating 6,000 cactus per hour. That means in terms of bone meal, you would get about 429 per hour or over 10,000 per day. That translates into 161 stacks per day or 6 chests full, and that's a 24-hour day. If you were to use this in a furnace XP farm, each of those pods, again that's the 4 cactus, would generate 6,000 XP per hour or 144,000 XP per day. And with this clock right here, you can make 64 pods if you go in a full diamond. Now, just to give you some additional numbers, for each pod, you would need 16 furnaces. It can actually power 16.67, and you would need 24,000 bamboo per hour in order to fuel it, which would be 4 slices of my most recent shaky sand bamboo farm, and I'll put an iCard in the tops. This may also be the reason why I never end up making a shaky sand cactus farm, because this is just a superior design in most sense. So what you see right here is actually a 3 game tick clock, slightly modified from one of Il Mango's old designs. And it turns out that in Java 1.13, 1.14, and 1.15, this 3 tick game clock will create 2 0 tick pulses in a piston. And I'll show you exactly what this looks like by showing you these various clocks right here. Now this right here is a 1 game tick clock. If I turn that on, now if I place down an observer, this makes a 2 game tick clock or a 1 redstone tick clock. And you can see that it is dropping its block right now because a 1 or 2 game tick pulse will cause the sticky piston to drop its block. Now this is a 3 game tick pulse. You can see that it does not drop the block. And then just to complete this, we have a 4 game tick, and you can see it also does not drop its block, but this is faster. Now the problem with this original design is its off state is powered, and if you do a powered off state on this farm, it will break all of your cactus. So I had to modify it to have a off state when it was depowered. And let me break some of this so we don't get the constant clicking. And just to show you that it is the same, I will take some of these and bring them over here just to hook this up to this. And you can see that visually it will be the same. And I can turn this back on. And you can see that we do have a 3 game tick clock that's just been modified like this to have an off state in a depowered off state, that is. Now you can build this a number of different ways, but you can have this grid pattern, which is the most efficient, or you can have these coming off in little bundles. And let's talk about the materials that you need in order to build this, which I have over here. Now this is the 0 tick generator or the 3 game tick clock. These are the materials that you're going to need in order to produce it. This is the heart of the machine. Everything else is a tack-on to it. Each pod, that is each of the 4 cactus, will need these materials. These are temporary right here. And then these are also a little bit depending upon your exact layout. You may need more or less of these. And then you can replace some of these blocks. For example, any full block here will do. And then I like using half slabs, but again, you can get away with using some different blocks there. And then in terms of the output, you can either output this whole thing into a composter, and you'll need these additional materials, or you can use this to make an automatic dropper system. And you can see that's what I did right here. And because of the rates, 3 of these pods together make 18,000 per hour, which is the maximum limit for a dropper clock with a dispenser. And you can see once it gets started, this number will hover very close to the same because the input and output is identical. And if I click that, you can see that our numbers are staying true, which does show you that this is actually producing 18,000 per hour between these 12 plants right here. And again, let's turn that off just for the noise issue. And then I just made a copy of all those materials right here so that we can get started. Let's find a clear space over in this direction. Now you are going to want to come off the ground a bit because depending on how your collection system works, you're going to want to have some room underneath. You can dispense this into water streams, for example, to make it a little bit easier for you. And then let's clear these. And then we're going to start by making that clock. So in order to do that, we're going to come 2 like this. We're going to come 1 up. And we're going to come 1 over, like this. So you can see that we're making our outline on this side. And then we're going to want to do the opposite by mirroring it to the other side. And in order to do that, you're going to want to come over like this. And then 1 more. And then up. And then over. And you want to grab some regular pistons and point them up facing in that direction. Now you're going to want to take your sticky piston on the side you want your output from. So if we're going to take our signal in this direction, we're going to want the sticky piston to be on this side. And you push it under just like that. And then on this other side, we're going to want to put a regular piston. We can have some of our redstone dust coming up the side for both. And then coming out, which is going to be our output. Now we can take some solid blocks like this. And this is how we're going to do our off switch. 2 sticky pistons pointing down with a lever on top. Now you can take this and run this to a different spot by putting redstone on it like that. And that will work. Or you can just leave it like this if you're going to have access to the top and put that lever down. And then when you put your redstone block underneath, these will start passing itself back and forth. And as you can see, we do have a nice clock there. And if you want to, you can do your test to make sure that it is a 3 game tick clock by grabbing some of those sticky pistons as well as some of the slime blocks in order to make sure everything looks correct. And now this is our main line, and we can use our top half slabs to drag it out and then figure out exactly how you're going to want to connect this. So again, you can drag this line in any direction. You can't use a repeater on this, it won't work. You are limited by the reach, but again, given how many pods you can fit, you really aren't going to need a repeater on this. Your computer is going to have issues before you need to worry about making more of them, and you can also just make a second one of these clocks. So in order to put our pod together, let's go a little bit out so we can see how this works. And we're going to want to use some glass in here as well, just so that it looks a little bit nicer and we can see what's going on. Drag our line and this is going to be the block that we're going to make our pod come from. So we do want to make sure that we have some redstone dust on there. Don't use solid blocks next to it, because depending on the location in your world, you can have some update issues where the piston gets locked in the out state. So do be sure just to surround this with glass at the very least. The other connecting pieces don't matter, but the one connected to the piston does. We can put our piston facing down underneath. We can put a temporary block here, and then we're going to put a chest down, which is going to help us with our alignment, and then we're going to put a hopper down underneath that. And now we can make this surrounded by top half slabs. Grab our rails, which are going to be temporary, and in 1.15 this is a lot easier because now the rails are pointed in the direction you're looking at. If you're playing in one of the other versions, just come out one more block so that they line up properly. We can grab one of our hopper mine carts now and put that down, and then we're going to push that into the chest just a little bit. It does have to be a chest. You need to use a partial block. You can use a different partial block if you want, but chests are very helpful. If you use a full block right here, this will not work. The hopper mine carts will not be able to have their drops picked up by the hopper underneath. So you push those in, and you push those in as well, like this. This could be a little bit finicky sometimes, but do be sure that you do give it a push. Then we can take our sand and first get rid of these rails or your sand will break. And don't do that like I just did. But that is a good indication that the hopper minecart is over the hopper. I'm going to put that back just so that we can then add our sand to it, which won't be able to stay without it. But again, make sure to destroy the rails. If the rails are still there, the sand will pop off. Then we're going to drop our sand blocks on top of those, which will help lock them in place so you don't actually nudge them, and need it, of course, for the cactus. Break that. Do be sure to break this chest, or again, the hopper won't be able to pick up the items. And then we can take our cactus and place that down like this, all around. Now we're going to want to surround the cactus. Don't put a block above it, put it next to it, which will guide the drops to ensure that the cactus pops off and then comes straight back down. It won't get destroyed by the cactus. The hopper minecart will pick it up before it is destroyed. And then finish on this side. And one more. And now you can make your output whatever you want it to be. If you want to set up your dropper system, this is a pretty standard auto dropper. You have the dropper pointing down, and then you take a comparator output into an observer. This is a sticky piston right here pointing into another observer like that, or you can just use this for compost as well by sticking a composter directly under it and then a hopper under that with a chest to store your bone meal, or you can drag that to wherever it is you need. And you can see when we turn this on, everything is functioning. The piston is extending, the cactus is fast growing, and all those drops are being collected through this hopper now into our composter or into wherever it is that we want to send the drops from right there. And then you can make as many of these pods as you want. If you are going for maximum efficiency, you're going to want to lay it out in this checkerboard pattern. And the pattern here is you have a piston, you have 3 glass blocks, and then you have another piston right here. And these are full stone or some other solid block. And you make this pattern this way. This will continue out as well, 1, 2, 3 over here, and this would make for a giant crisscross again. And again, this is probably why I won't be making a shaky sand cactus farm, because this is really just better. Before I close this video, let me also do mention, of course, that I was working on this with Maticus. I'll put a link in the description to his channel or his video if his video has come out before I publish this one. We were working on trying to improve some of the rates on the shaky sand bamboo farm and some of the various clocks that we were trying to see what we can do. The discovery was that the 3 game tick clock actually is a 0 tick generator, and he's making one full size, computer melting full size, or so I'm led to believe. So do be sure to head on over to his channel and check that out. It should be something to see when it's done. Now, if you found this video helpful, I would appreciate a like, and as well as you're going to hopefully go subscribe to Maticus, do also be sure to subscribe down below, and thank you for stopping by.